The Hotel St. George in Wellington. After their...
Opened it. I said St. George must have opened it.
That was John.
This is Paul. Hello, Bob.
And this is Ringo.
Hello, Bob.
Where's George?
He's writing a letter.
He's writing a letter home.
Yes.
Well, you've just
He's
started...
a good lad to his mum, you know, is George.
How are your opening performances in New Zealand?
They were very different from Australian, you know, because Australians, I think, are much wilder people anyway, you know. It's very exciting to play a show in Australia. But here, it was a different kind of thing, you know, because they're all very conservative. It was okay, though. I mean, nothing to complain about. Yes, mind you, the New Zealand people thought it was wild, but, you know, I don't think you would have thought it was, you know, comparatively speaking.
Yet outside the hotel later, at about 11 o'clock when you made your appearance, they were quite wild, weren't they?
Yes, they seem wild from a distance. When you get near, it seems to quiet them down. Now, they're good, you know, but compared with most other places, they're very quiet.
I believe a policeman had some gashes in his leg when you left the hotel at 5:30. And there was a bit...
We didn't leave till 6:30. I don't know. I haven't heard about it. Oh, well, I hope not. Get well soon anyway.
A number of girls who burst through the cordon right at the end of your second show.
Yeah, that was exciting, you know. It got a bit exciting towards the end of the second one. We were hoping they'd be up on stage dancing and things, but police got them back, you know.
We've read, since we left Melbourne, that the Southern Cross Hotel has cut up the sheets in which you slept and given them to orphans.
Yes, well, it's a good idea, I think, you know. I mean, at first I thought it was a daft idea, but as soon as they said, you know, that it's going to a good cause and they're selling it to help all the orphans and things, you know, I thought, good idea, that. Good idea.
Now, John, your Aunt Mimi's reunited with you, and I believe has introduced you to some of your relatives. You've got more relatives here than in England.
I haven't, actually. I seem to have a lot everywhere. One gathers them. But, yes, I was reunited with her, but she's staying on here. Excuse me, Ringo was making a funny noise earlier. I don't know exactly what he was doing. Bit of wind, I think, don't you, Ringo?
You had an unfortunate experience, I think, at your first performances in New Zealand. The microphones didn't seem to work properly. There was a lot of distortion. How do you feel about that? You carried on like troopers, but how do you really feel about that?
Well, we don't like it, you know, and the mics are not as good as normal. We have played on worse mics, mind you, but it's not very often. You know, it's normally in the early days. We expected them to have better mics here, but actually Jerry warned us about the mics here because he had a lot of trouble. But the fellow said they're getting a new set in. Well, the new set wasn't much better from what we can work out, but he's going to try again tomorrow.
The large percentage of the audience couldn't even hear you, I feel, right around underneath the balcony.
Well, that was a drag, you know, but we couldn't do anything about it.
A few of them were shouting, weren't they? You know, speak up and that. Nothing to do with us. You have crappy mics. What can we do?
Ringo, this is the first time that you have sung on this Australian tour. How did it...
Isn't it New Zealand, Bob?
Australasian tour.
Yes, first time. So what are you going to say about it?
Did you notice the enormous reaction as soon as John moved the microphone over towards you? They knew it was going to happen.
I thought he was going to hit me with it, you see.
You sang boys.
Well, we usually sing which numbers are popular, you know. I never sing boys in England anymore. I usually sing I Want to Be Your Man.
I think in Australasia, you know, boys is the number that Ringo's known for.
What would happen if any of you caught the flu?
We probably flew home. How do you like that one, Bob? Oh, he's got a good...
He has.
Yes, he has.
Have you bought any souvenirs in New Zealand?
No, I bought a couple of Maoris, but don't tell anyone. Never get them through the customs.
I got a couple of plastic tikis given to us. Whatever happened to the real ones? You never seem to get the real ones, you know, Bob. Always them plastic Japanese models.
Yes, well, they tell me that they have a very, great rite behind them, and they hide them and they bury them because they mean something, to the real Maori.
Fertility or something, isn't it?
Yes, well, I didn't want to discuss that.
You didn't want to discuss that, teenage program he's got. A bit disgusting, all that fertility.
Already.
What? No, fertility, that's all potatoes and fertile crops and all, that's what it means, I think.
Well, now, finally, the Vienna Boys Choir is in town.
Oh, you must go and see him. Must go. I've heard they're a rave.
I believe they're wild, man. You got to watch it when they're on.
Hey, they don't off, but they blow up a bit of a storm, those fellas.
I know, they
Have you shaking their heads, seen them?
I've seen them, yeah.
Go mad, they do.
Vienna Boys Choir Mania.
Yeah.
Just a minute, John.
Vienna Boys Choir Mania, I'd call it.
Any special message for Australia?
Yeah. Yes.
Hello, Australia. There's a good.
Can't wait to come back to Brisbane.
Yes, can't wait to see Brisbane.
Keep the sun shining.
The sunny climate. See you then.
Yeah, I hope there's more people than this over here in Brisbane.
I think there is.
How many does it hold in Brisbane? But what are you looking at your tape for? We've plenty of time.
It's just running out. So about 6,000 in the festival.
That's nice. I like a big crowd.
I like a big
I
crowd
love
too,
the crowd.
especially a big Brisbane crowd. Lovely.
Lovely. Well, Bob, that's about it then. Cheerio.
See you then, Bob. Ta-ra. Thanks for calling.
Ta-ra, Bob. See you again, Bob. Hey, Bob. Okay, Bob. Hey, Bob. See you again then, Bob. Hey, Bob. Okay, Bob. Right, Bob? Okay, Bob.